it used to, right? New
Yeah.
Year's Day, most of America would wake up hungover from New Year's Eve, and you would watch the college football games. You would celebrate those games, and then that would be it. And there's still it. Look, you and I and everyone who covers the sport, what do we always say going into a college football playoff game or something that leading into the postseason? We're like, oh, it's been a month since they played. Well, that means there's a month window where we're talking about teams not playing. I remember going into the Arizona State Texas playoff game. It's like, well, ASU hadn't played in over 3 weeks. Well, why not? Like, let's start finding a way to make the calendar benefit
Now we're
everyone.
wasting a week. I know I'm going to upset somebody, but the week of the Army-Navy game needs to be the playoffs. And that is a wasted Saturday where well, what do we have? We have the Army-Navy game and the Heisman, okay? We can't figure that out some other time.
And I forget who said it recently. Was it Joe Clatt? It was someone that said Army Navy should kick off the season. What a great way to kick off
I
the
agree.
season, then use that next Saturday after championship Saturday. So there's ways to fix the calendar to get to a point. I just worry with where college football is and a kind of an inflection point with NIL, portal, and money and coaches and this, that, and the other. We have to reel it back in because it's still the greatest sport on the planet. The ratings will prove that, but there's ways to make it even better as we move forward to the end of this season. Ohio State, we talked about the Notre Dame side of this. I would contend that this game is much bigger for Ryan Day than it is Marcus Freeman. What would you say?
It is. I think a lot of people are asking, well, what's going to happen if he loses the game? Well, first of all, I don't think that's going to happen. But if it did, there would be a lot of criticism, especially if it ended badly. A Sark-like call by Ryan Day that gives Notre Dame the win. But there's no way Ryan Day is going back to where he was on the final Saturday of November. That's just not happening. He has done a lot. He's won three playoff games, and some of them have been, two of them have been just downright all three have quite frankly been over impressive teams. This is not the Penn State path or someone else's path. I mean, these are Tennessee, Oregon, and obviously Texas says a lot, especially those two over the SEC. So I don't think he's going back, but I mean, it would seem like a lost season of sorts if you get this far with this roster, overcome what you have done already, and then let it slip away against what is perceived to be an inferior program.
Yeah, and when you look at the Buckeyes in this 3 week run that they've been on, the more that they separate themselves from the Michigan loss, the more that it is 100% clear. And I get it. If Michigan fans don't see this, I don't blame them. They beat Ohio State again, which they should be bragging about until they don't get beat by them. But to me, it's clear that that was such an outlier and aberration of who Ohio State really is that you look at the Buckeyes now, the 3 weeks that we've seen out of them, Paul, that's who they are. Anyone who hasn't changed their focus to look at Ohio State and be like, oh, okay, that's the Buckeyes. Michigan team wasn't a Buckeyes.
Yeah, what happened is, I mean, we walked out of the Cotton Bowl Friday night going, that was a terrible performance by Ohio State. They just beat Texas um, in Texas, and we were looking at them because we were grading them on the curve. The fact that they only won by 14 points, including the scoop and score, it just seemed like they played a B or C game. And that's the scary part. If they play a crisp game Monday night, it won't be close, I don't think. And that's, yeah, how Notre Dame fans can take that however they want. It doesn't matter. I mean, that's just the reality.
Yeah, and finally, as we wrap up our preview here on the Matt Barrie Show, presented by Allstate, as we check in with Paul Finebaum, presented by Allstate, when you look at where this thing will end on Monday night, is it going to be this postseason coronation of the Buckeyes, or is the Rudy Rudiger story behind Notre Dame and their run through the playoff going to continue?
I cannot imagine Notre Dame winning the game. Something tells me I'll probably hear that statement again Tuesday if I'm wrong. I just can't. And I know it's cliche to say, Matt, Notre Dame's really good, and I see it coming down to a late. I don't see it. To me, this looks like the first couple of games by Ohio State. I think the Texas game was the outlier. Texas was really good.
Yeah.
They're sneaky good. I think Notre Dame is solid. But they're missing a couple of key components. I think Jeremiah Love being banged up is a problem. Losing linemen is a problem. I mean, their special teams are fantastic, but Ohio State is fantastic across the board. It's just a matter of what level do they play to, and I think if they play to a high level, this game is not close.